The station drifted in quiet orbit above a pale blue world that no one had bothered to name yet. Helix 9 was built for listening, not talking. It watched stars, measured radiation, counted numbers that most people would never care about. Inside its curved walls, everything was clean, calm, and carefully controlled. Dr. Mara Voss liked that. Order made sense to her. Numbers made sense. People often did not. She sat at the edge of the observation deck, tablet resting on her knees, eyes moving between lines of data that refused to line up the way they should. Something was wrong with the station's predictive models. Not broken, just off. Small errors, tiny delays. Like the future itself was hesitating. Behind her, Commander Elias Trent stood near the viewport, hands clasped behind his back. He had been there for almost an hour, staring out at the stars without moving. That, too, was unusual. Elias was many things, calm, precise, efficient, but he was not a man who wasted time staring into space. Mara glanced over her shoulder. "Commander," she said, keeping her voice light, "you're going to wear a hole in the glass." He did not turn. "It's reinforced," he replied. "I checked." That answer made her frown. It wasn't wrong, but it wasn't quite right either. Elias usually responded with more than one word. He explained. He clarified. He filled silence the way a machine filled empty space with purpose. Tonight he was quiet. Mara stood and walked closer, her boots soft against the deck. The stars beyond the window stretched endlessly, bright and cold. She stopped beside him, close enough to feel the faint vibration of the station through the floor. "You've been different since the relic test," she said. His jaw tightened just a little. "I passed all medical scans." "That's not what I asked." Silence stretched between them. The station lights dimmed slightly as Helix 9 shifted into its night cycle. Outside, a distant sun flared, unseen but felt through sensors. Mara studied Elias from the side. His eyes were focused, but not on any single star. It was as if he were looking at something layered over reality, something only he could see. She hesitated, then took a small step closer. "If I sit closer," she murmured, "will you finally tell me what you're thinking?" For a fraction of a second, the station hummed differently. It was so slight that most people would never notice. But Mara had spent her life noticing small things. The predictive model on her tablet flickered. A warning icon appeared, then vanished. Elias finally turned to look at her. His expression was not fear. It was not confusion. It was calculation, deep, complex, and fast. "You shouldn't ask questions like that," he said quietly. Mara raised an eyebrow. "Since when?" "Since the answers started changing when you do." That made her breath catch. "What does that mean?" Before he could reply, a soft chime echoed through the deck. The station AI's voice followed, calm and neutral. "Commander Trent, Dr. Voss, unscheduled probability deviation detected." Mara blinked. "Probability deviation. That's a new one," she muttered. Elias did not look surprised. "How severe?" he asked. "Minor," the AI replied. "Localized to observation deck 3, cause unknown." Mara looked from the ceiling speaker back to Elias. "You knew that would happen." "I suspected," he said. She folded her arms. "Okay, you don't get to say things like that and then stay quiet." He exhaled slowly. "Mara, things have been making sense in ways they shouldn't." She waited. "Since the relic test," he continued, "I can see outcomes. Not clearly, not like visions, more like pressure. If I think about a choice, I feel which direction the universe leans." "That's not possible," she said automatically. "I know. And yet you're standing here acting like you just described the weather." He looked back out at the stars. "The universe doesn't care what we think is possible." Mara's scientist instincts flared, fighting against a growing sense of unease. "Why didn't you report this?" "Because the moment I do," Elias said, "someone decides what I am, a weapon, a threat, a resource." She was quiet for a long moment. "And what do you think you are?" He hesitated. That hesitation mattered more than any answer. "I think," he said slowly, that humans have been playing with rules we don't understand, and something just noticed. As if on cue, the station lights flickered again. This time, the hum was louder. Helix 9, Mara said, run a system check. Already in progress, the AI replied. All systems nominal, however, long-range sensors have detected incoming vessels. Mara turned sharply. Incoming from where? Unregistered jump signatures, the AI said. Non-human origin. Elias closed his eyes. Mara stared at him. You knew. I felt it, he corrected. There was a path where nothing happened, and a path where everything did. We're on the second one. The viewport shimmered as space itself bent. Shapes emerged, sleek, angular ships that moved with unsettling smoothness. They were unlike any human design. No visible weapons, no markings, just silent intent. Mara's pulse quickened. First contact, she whispered. This wasn't scheduled for decades. It was, Elias said softly, just not on our calendars. The station AI spoke again, its tone unchanged. Incoming transmission. Mara and Elias exchanged a look. Put it through, Mara said. The air in front of them rippled, forming a three-dimensional projection. The figure that appeared was tall and thin, its features symmetrical but alien. Its eyes were dark, reflective, and far too calm. Human representatives, the figure said. We are the continuum. You have crossed a threshold. Mara swallowed. We didn't know. That is irrelevant, the alien interrupted. Your species has activated dormant variables. This was not anticipated. Elias stepped forward. That's not true. The alien's gaze snapped to him. You anticipated it, Elias continued. You just didn't think we'd reach it this way. The silence that followed felt heavy, almost physical. Interesting, the alien said at last. You perceive more than expected. Mara looked between them. Elias, what are you doing? Talking, he replied, before they decide for us. The alien tilted its head. Human, it said, you are an anomaly. You should not exist in your current state. Elias met its gaze without flinching. Neither should fear, he said. Yet here we are. Mara felt the air shift again, like the station itself was holding its breath. Explain, the alien demanded. Elias did not answer right away. He glanced at Mara, then back at the projection. Humans ask questions, he said, even when we're told not to, especially then. The alien studied him. Curiosity is inefficient. So is survival, Elias replied. Until it is. Mara's heart pounded. This was not how first contact protocols were written. This was not how anything was supposed to go. And yet, the predictive model on her tablet stabilized for the first time in hours. The alien slowly nodded. You are closer to understanding than your species should be. Mara felt a chill. Understanding what? The projection flickered. That the universe is not a finished thing. The transmission ended abruptly. The alien ships remained, motionless but present. The station lights returned to normal. For a long moment, neither human spoke. Finally, Mara let out a shaky breath. You still haven't answered my question. Elias looked at her, a faint, tired smile touching his lips. I was thinking, he said, that the universe just blinked. And when it opened its eyes, it saw us. Outside the window, the stars burned on, silent and watchful. The alien ships did not move, but their presence pressed against the station like a held breath. Helix 9 continued to orbit the nameless world below, its systems calm on the surface, strained underneath. Data flowed, sensors watched, and the station AI ran the same checks again and again, as if repetition could make the unknown safer. Mara stood near the viewport long after the transmission ended. Her reflection stared back at her, pale and thoughtful. First contact had happened, and it had not asked for permission. Behind her, Elias leaned against a console, eyes closed. His breathing was steady, but his mind was clearly elsewhere. You felt them before they arrived, Mara said quietly. Yes. How long before? Minutes, maybe longer. Time feels loose. She turned to face him. Loose how? He opened his eyes. Like it bends around choices. The closer something important gets, the more the future pushes back. That doesn't sound healthy, she said. It doesn't feel healthy either. The station AI interrupted. Long-range sensors confirmed the vessels remained stationary. No weapons systems detected. Communication silence ongoing. Mara nodded. Thank you, Helix 9. She looked back at Elias. They called themselves the Continuum. They said we activated dormant variables. They were watching, Elias said. Not just us, humanity for a long time. Mara crossed her arms. That's a big claim. I know, she hesitated, but you believe it. Yes. Mara walked to the console and pulled up sensor data. The alien ships were unlike anything in human records. Their energy signatures were stable, clean, almost elegant. Why now? She asked. Why show up at all? Elias was quiet for a moment. Because something changed, not in space, in us. Before Mara could respond, alarms chimed softly. Not emergency alarms, but alerts, priority signals. Commander Trent, the AI said, incoming secure transmission from Earth Command. Mara's stomach tightened. That didn't take long. The holographic projector activated again, this time forming the image of Admiral Ree. Her face was stern, lined with years of command. Report, the Admiral said immediately. Mara opened her mouth, but Elias spoke first. We've made contact, he said. Non-human, multiple vessels, non-hostile so far. The Admiral's eyes sharpened. Details, Mara stepped in. They identify as the Continuum. They claim humanity crossed a threshold. Threshold to what? The Admiral asked. Elias answered, awareness. There was a pause. Explain, the Admiral said. Elias did his best. He spoke carefully, choosing simple words. He described the relic test, the patterns, the feeling of probability shifting. He did not mention everything. He did not mention how the universe felt alive when he thought too deeply. When he finished, the Admiral was silent. Finally, she said, you're telling me you can predict alien contact. I'm telling you, Elias replied, that humans are more connected to cause and effect than we thought. The Admiral exhaled. This will not stay classified. I know. Commander, she said, Earth is not prepared for this. No one ever is, Elias said. The transmission ended with orders to maintain position and avoid provocation. Mara slumped into a chair once the projection vanished. We're standing on the edge of history. Elias shook his head. We stepped over it already. Hours passed. The alien ships remained still. No further communication came. The tension aboard Helix 9 grew. Crew members whispered. Engineers double-checked systems that did not need checking. Mara sat in the lab replaying sensor logs. The relic test data glowed on the screen. A small object older than humanity discovered drifting between stars. It had not emitted power. It had not sent signals. It had simply existed, until a human touched it. The door slid open. Elias stepped inside. You should be resting, she said. So should you. She didn't argue. I think the relic didn't give you something new, she said slowly. I think it removed a limit. Elias leaned against the table. That's what the Continuum fears. Why would they limit us? Mara asked. Why not destroy us if we're dangerous? Elias looked at the relic containment chamber. Because we're useful. The words settled heavily. Useful how? She asked. Imagine a species that can adapt faster than planning, he said. That can change strategies not by calculation but by intuition. We're unpredictable, Mara frowned. That sounds like chaos. It sounds like survival, Elias replied. The lab lights dimmed slightly. The AI spoke again. Incoming communication, alien origin. Mara's heart jumped. Put it through. The Continuum representative appeared once more. You have consulted your authority, it said. This was expected. What do you want? Mara asked. To evaluate, the alien replied. The anomaly must be understood. You mean Elias, she said sharply. Yes. Elias stepped forward. I'm not property. No, the alien said. You are a process. Mara bristled. He's a person. A distinction without relevance, the alien replied. Elias felt pressure behind his eyes. Futures branched in his mind. paths of compliance, paths of resistance. Some ended quietly, others burned. He chose a path. You made a mistake, he said. You assumed humans would react like you. The alien's eyes narrowed slightly. Clarify. You see intelligence as control, Elias continued. We see it as connection. Mara glanced at him, surprised. We don't need to understand everything to act, he said. We trust each other. The alien was silent. Mara stepped beside Elias. You've been watching us, she said. You know our history, you know we fight, but you also know we cooperate when it matters. Yes, the alien said. That trait is inefficient. It saved us, Mara said, again and again. The alien's image flickered. The threshold you crossed cannot be reversed. Good, Elias said. There will be consequences, the alien warned. Elias nodded. There always are. The projection vanished. Moments later, the alien ships began to move, not away, around the station. A slow, deliberate orbit. Mara watched uneasy. What are they doing? Testing, Elias said, seeing how we respond. How should we respond? She asked. Elias closed his eyes. The pressure returned. Futures unfolded. He felt humanity like a distant warmth, billions of minds unaware but connected. We don't panic, he said. We prepare. Across human space, small things began to change. Engineers made breakthroughs they couldn't fully explain. Pilots reacted faster than sensors. Scientists connected ideas that had never fit before. On Helix 9, Mara felt it too, a quiet clarity like pieces sliding into place. She looked at Elias. Is this happening to everyone? Not fully, he said, but the door is open. The alien ships completed their orbit and stopped. A final message arrived. Humanity is no longer dormant, the continuum said. The experiment enters its next phase. The transmission ended. Mara swallowed. They called us an experiment. Elias looked out at the stars. They always were. Below them, the nameless world turned slowly, unaware that its sky now watched a species taking its first real step into the universe. And for the first time, the universe was not sure what humans would do next. The alien ships stayed in their slow orbit, silent and watchful. Days passed, but it felt longer. Time on Helix 9 no longer moved in neat blocks. It stretched and folded, especially around Elias. Mara noticed it first during a routine systems check. A diagnostic that should have taken 10 minutes finished in 3. Another task took longer than expected for no clear reason. It's like the station is guessing, she said, rubbing her eyes. Elias sat nearby, staring at a floating screen filled with shifting probability curves. It's not guessing, he replied. It's responding. To what? To us. That answer didn't comfort her. Earth Command sent more messages, questions, requests. Demands wrapped in careful language. They wanted Elias transferred. They wanted the relic moved. They wanted control. Mara watched Elias read the messages, his face calm but distant. You don't agree, she said. I see outcomes, he replied. Most of them end badly if I leave this station. For you or for humanity, he looked at her. Yes. That night Mara couldn't sleep. She walked the corridors of Helix 9, listening to the low hum of machinery. Crew members spoke in hushed tones. Everyone felt it now. A sense that something big was unfolding and they were too small to stop it. She found Elias in the observation deck again. You're avoiding them, she said softly. I'm buying time. For what? For people to choose. She sat beside him, closer than before. You still haven't told me everything, she said. He was quiet for a long moment. Outside, one of the alien ships adjusted its orbit just a little. I don't just see futures, Elias said at last. I feel when choices matter, when they echo. And now? Now every small action echoes far, Mara swallowed. That's a lot for one person. I'm not alone, he said, not anymore. As if summoned by his words, the station AI spoke. Dr. Voss, Commander Trent, multiple human vessels entering the system. Mara stood. Earth sent them. Yes. The ships appeared on the viewport, human designs, familiar and comforting in their way. military escorts, science vessels, authority made of metal and orders. Mara felt a mix of relief and fear. Backup. Elias felt the pressure spike. Futures multiplied. Some ended in cooperation, others in fear-driven decisions. "They're afraid," he said. "They don't know what's happening," Mara replied. "Neither do we." The first transmission came from a fleet commander. "Helix 9, this is Task Group Orion. You are ordered to stand down and prepare Commander Trent for transfer." Mara clenched her fists. Elias closed his eyes. He saw a future where he boarded the ship. Containment, study, control. Humanity shrinking back into limits it never knew it had. He opened his eyes. "Negative," he said calmly. "Transfer is not advised." There was a pause. "That is not your decision, Commander." "It is," Elias replied, "if you want humanity to survive what comes next." The channel erupted in voices, arguments, orders. Mara stepped forward. "Listen to him," she said. "Something is happening across human space. You can see it in your own data." Silence followed. "Then we see anomalies," the fleet commander admitted. "Unexplained improvements, increased efficiency." "That's not a threat," Mara said. "That's us growing." The alien ships shifted again. All sensors flared. "Alien vessels powering up," the AI announced. Mara's heart raced. "Elias, they're reacting," he said. "Not attacking, responding to fear." On the alien flagship, the Continuum watched the human fleet with interest. Humans brought weapons to uncertainty. As expected. "Your species defaults to control," the alien representative said, appearing again. "And yours defaults to judgment," Elias replied. "Humans destabilize systems," the alien said. "You change outcomes simply by observing them." Mara stared at the projection. "That's called being alive." The alien tilted its head. "Life is manageable when limited." "And when it's not?" Elias asked. "Then it becomes dangerous." The pressure in Elias' mind peaked. Futures aligned. One path stood out not because it was safe but because it was honest. He made his choice. "Humans won't be contained," he said. "Not by you, not by ourselves." The alien studied him. "Then you accept responsibility." "Yes," Elias said, "we always have." The alien ships powered down slightly, not retreating. Listening on the human fleet, sensors showed the change. Tension eased just a fraction. Mara felt something shift inside her, a clarity. She understood connections faster. "Not superhuman, just better." She looked at Elias. "Is this what you feel all the time?" "Yes." "How do you stand it?" "I remember why it matters." Earth Command sent another message, different tone. "We are observing synchronized cognitive improvements across multiple crews," the Admiral said. "This is no longer isolated." Elias nodded. "It's spreading." "Is it reversible?" the Admiral asked. He shook his head. "It shouldn't be." A long silence followed. Then the Admiral said, "Then we adapt." Mara smiled faintly. "That's the most human answer possible." The alien representative watched this exchange with growing concern. "You accept instability," it said. "You embrace it." "Yes," Elias replied, "because we change with it." "Change leads to collapse," the alien warned. "Sometimes," Elias said, "sometimes it leads to something better." The Continuum ships pulled back slightly, creating space. A gesture, not trust but curiosity. Mara let out a slow breath. "Did we just negotiate with aliens by being ourselves?" Elias allowed himself a small smile. "We're very bad at being anything else." Days passed. Human ships and alien ships shared space, uneasy but calm. Data flowed both ways, observations, tests. No weapons fired. Across human worlds, people felt it, not as power but as possibility, a sense that problems were solvable, that cooperation mattered. Mara worked longer hours, but she didn't feel tired. Ideas came easier. Connections formed naturally. One evening, she joined Elias again at the viewport. "They're not leaving," she said. "No," he replied. "They're waiting." "For what?" "For us to prove we won't break the universe by touching it." She laughed softly. "No pressure." He looked at her seriously. Mara, if this goes wrong, she shook her head. If it goes wrong, we face it, together. That mattered. He felt it in the way futures shifted. Shared resolve strengthened paths that once looked weak. The alien representative appeared one final time that day. Humanity approaches a point of no return, it said. Elias nodded. So does every species that grows up. The alien studied him. You are no longer an experiment, it said. You are a variable we cannot ignore. Good, Elias replied. The projection vanished. Mara leaned against the glass, watching stars burn quietly in the dark. Do you think they're afraid of us? She asked. Elias considered the futures. I think they're afraid of what happens when someone smaller refuses to stay small, she smiled. That sounds like us. Outside, the universe waited, and for the first time it felt like it was listening. The change did not arrive like a storm. There were no explosions, no sudden flashes of light. It came quietly, through choices, through people acting just a little differently than before. On Helix 9, Mara noticed it in the way the crew worked together. Arguments ended faster. Problems that once took days were solved in hours. No one felt smarter in a dramatic way. They just felt clearer. Elias felt it everywhere. The pressure in his mind was still there, but it had changed. Before, it was heavy and sharp, like standing under a falling weight. Now it was wide and steady, like a current carrying him forward. He was no longer the only one touching it. Humanity was learning to feel the flow. The alien ships remained nearby, but they kept more distance now, not retreating, watching. Earth Command sent daily updates. Across colonies and stations, small miracles were happening. Engines ran more efficiently without redesign. Medical teams caught problems earlier. Pilots reacted before danger fully appeared. No one called it evolution. That word scared people. They called it adaptation. Mara stood in the main operations room, scrolling through reports. They're afraid, she said softly. Elias looked up. Humans? No, she replied. The continuum, he nodded. They built their civilization on stability, fixed paths, fixed outcomes. And we don't, Mara said. We never have. A warning tone sounded. Alert, the AI said. Continuum vessels initiating wide-range field activity. Mara's heart jumped. Is that an attack? Elias closed his eyes. Futures opened like doors, some dark, some survivable. No, he said. It's a test. The alien ships emitted a low-energy wave that washed across the system. Sensors struggled to classify it. It wasn't destructive, but it interfered with human systems. Communications lagged, navigation flickered. On Helix 9, lights dimmed, crew members tensed. Stay calm, Mara said, her voice steady. Stick to manual protocols. To her surprise, the crew adapted quickly. Hands moved with confidence. People trusted each other without needing orders. The station stabilized faster than expected. Elias felt it clearly now. The more humans worked together, the smoother the future became. The alien representative appeared. You respond without central control, it observed. That's how we survive, Mara said. We share responsibility. Shared responsibility creates unpredictability, the alien said. Yes, Elias replied. That's the point. Across human space, the wave hit harder. Some stations panicked. Some governments issued emergency orders that only made things worse. But in many places, people ignored fear and focused on solutions. Neighbors helped neighbors. Crews trusted experience over instructions. The wave faded. Human systems recovered faster than alien models predicted. The continuum noticed. This result was not expected, the alien admitted. Mara crossed her arms. You keep saying that. The alien's eyes shifted to Elias. Your influence extends beyond your location. I'm not controlling anything, Elias said. I'm not sending commands. Then explain, the alien said. Elias thought carefully. Humans don't wait to be complete before acting. We grow while moving. That is inefficient, the alien said. It's alive, Mara replied. The continuum ships shifted formation, a sign of internal debate. On Earth, leaders argued. Some wanted to shut everything down. Others saw opportunity. Humanity stood at a crossroads not marked on any map. The alien representative returned with a new message. "We will apply a containment field," it said. "Not to harm, to stabilize." Mara felt cold. "You're going to limit us." "To protect the system," the alien said, "including you." Elias felt futures collapse. Paths closed. Humanity shrinking back, dulled, safe, and small. "No," he said firmly. "You cannot stop this," the alien replied. Elias stepped forward. "I don't need to." Mara looked at him. "Elias, the field relies on prediction," he said. "On knowing how we'll react." The alien paused. "Correct." "Then it won't work," Elias said. The continuum activated the field. Reality tightened. For a moment everything slowed, thoughts dulled, systems hesitated. Then humans adjusted, not through calculation but through instinct. Pilots trusted their gut. Engineers bypassed failing systems creatively. Scientists abandoned models and tried new approaches. The field cracked, not violently, gently like ice under steady pressure. The continuum ships recoiled slightly. "This is not possible," the alien said. Mara felt it too. The weight lifted. Her thoughts cleared. "It is," she said. "You just never planned for it." The alien studied the data flowing in from across the system. Containment failing everywhere humans acted together. "You destabilize closed systems," it said slowly. "Yes," Elias replied. "We open them." The continuum fell silent. On Earth, something shifted. Leaders who clung to fear lost influence. People followed those who listened and adapted. The alien representative returned, its tone changed. "Your species presents a systemic risk," it said, "but also a solution." Mara raised an eyebrow. "To what?" "To stagnation," the alien said. "The galaxy has been stable for too long." Elias felt the truth of it. Futures where civilizations slowly faded, not from war but from stillness. "You need us," he said. The alien did not deny it. "We will withdraw," it said, "but observation will continue." Mara let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. The alien ships began to move away, one by one, slipping back into deep space. The system felt lighter. The universe felt wider. On Helix 9, the crew relaxed. Laughter returned, not because danger was gone, but because they had faced it together. Mara stood beside Elias at the viewport again. "They tried to put us back in a box," she said. "They always will," he replied. "Are we ready for what comes next?" Elias watched the stars. Futures stretched ahead, uncertain but alive. "We don't need to be ready," he said. "We just need to keep choosing." Mara smiled. "That's a very human answer." Below them, the nameless world continued its quiet orbit, unchanged on the surface. But above it, humanity had taken another step forward, not with weapons or dominance, but with trust and shared courage. The galaxy had tested humans and learned something important. Humans did not break when pressure was applied. They adapted. And they kept going. The space around Helix 9 felt quiet again, but it was not the same quiet as before. It was not the silence of waiting. It was the silence after a choice has been made. The continuum ships were gone. Their presence faded from sensors, leaving only distant stars and human vessels holding position. Earth Command confirmed it across every channel. The alien fleet had withdrawn beyond tracking range. Humanity had been left alone, for now. Mara stood in the observation deck, hands resting on the railing, eyes fixed on the empty space where the alien ships had been. She did not feel relief. She felt responsibility. "They're really gone," she said softly. Elias stood beside her. He looked tired for the first time since the relic test, not weak, just human. "Yes," he said, "they've stepped back. Because of us. Because they learned they can't step on us." Mara nodded slowly. "That might make us more dangerous than if we had fought them." Elias smiled faintly. "It always does." Earth Command requested a full debrief. This time it was not an order. It was a request. That change mattered. Mara and Elias stood before the holographic council chamber. Leaders from Earth, colonies, and deep space stations filled the projection. Faces that once spoke with authority now listened carefully. Admiral Ree spoke first. "We are receiving reports from across human space. Cooperation is increasing. Conflicts are resolving faster. People are thinking differently," Mara spoke calmly. "We didn't become something new, we became more ourselves." Some leaders looked unsure, others looked hopeful. A governor from a mining colony asked, "Is this permanent?" Elias answered honestly. "No," the room tensed. "It's a choice," he continued. "What's happening now only works if people keep choosing trust over fear. If we fall back into control and panic, it fades." Silence followed. "That's unacceptable," one leader said. "We need certainty." Elias met their gaze. So did the continuum. That ended the argument. After the meeting, Helix 9 returned to routine operations, but nothing felt routine anymore. People smiled more easily. They shared information without being asked. No one talked about becoming powerful. They talked about becoming better. Mara returned to the lab and deactivated the relic's containment field. Not because it was safe, but because it was no longer needed. The relic sat there unchanged, silent. It had done its part. Elias joined her. "It's just a mirror," Mara said. "It showed us what was already there." "Yes," Elias replied, and then it stepped aside. She studied him. "What about you?" He paused. Futures no longer pressed so hard. He could still feel them, but they did not dominate him. "I'm quieter," he said. "Like the universe trusts us to handle things without constant reminders." Mara smiled. "Good." Weeks passed. Human space changed slowly, then all at once. Old rivalries softened. Borders mattered less than shared problems. When crises happened, people did not wait for permission to help. There were still mistakes, still arguments, still fear, but fear no longer led. The continuum did not return, but messages arrived from other civilizations. Careful, curious, watching from a distance. Humanity had been noticed. On Helix 9, a small ceremony was held. No medals, no speeches broadcast across space, just a moment. Mara stood beside Elias as the crew gathered. "We didn't win," she said simply. "We learned." "That's harder," one engineer replied. "And more important," Elias added. Later, Mara and Elias returned to the observation deck one last time before their reassignment. Helix 9 would continue its work, but they were needed elsewhere now. "You never answered my question," Mara said, glancing at him. He raised an eyebrow. "Which one?" She leaned slightly closer, just like before. "What you were thinking that first day." Elias looked out at the stars. They felt different now, less distant. "I was thinking," he said slowly, "that humans always believe the universe is bigger than us." Mara waited. "And I realized," he continued, "the universe is big because it needs room for us to grow." She smiled. "That's very hopeful. It's very human." Below them, the nameless world continued to turn. Above it, human ships plotted new courses, not outward in conquest, but inward in understanding. The universe did not cheer. It did not resist. It adjusted. And for the first time, humanity did not ask for permission to exist among the stars. They simply did, and the stars at last made space.